So you all got played by Southern Poverty Law Center and BLM? Like they all fed into your ideas of victimization for their own profit? Maybe all these leftist organizations do not actually care about your well-being. You guys are going to sit here and call Trump a con artist when you guys are the ones being conned.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center because apparently, allegedly, they've actually been paying some of these so-called hate groups. Because, of course, when the supply of, racism and hate cannot meet the demand, because the demand is way up here for Democrats, but the supply is way down here. So how do you bring up the supply? Well, you just pay a bunch of actors. We're going to get into this a little bit, but first I want to show you this clip from Kash Patel himself, FBI Director Kash Patel, and him explaining all of this quite a bit. So make sure you guys smack that like button and go and check out my merch. Link is in the description. All right, let's jump into it.
What we're here today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million. Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center, on top of perpetuating this widespread, decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud, conducted more criminal activity. They attempted to hide their criminal activity from our financial banking network. They set up shell companies and entities around America so that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud. This is a serious and egregious violation of a group that purported to dismantle violent extremist groups, but in turn actually only fueled the hatred. This is an important case brought by President Trump's administration. We're thankful for the president for his leadership and funding of not just the FBI and DOJ, but his commitment to go out there and wipe out fraud and conspiracy and waste and abuse wherever it occurs, including the Southern Poverty Law Center. Even though this money was made to appear to be coming from legitimate people and legitimate entities, we at the FBI, with our great partners at the Department of Justice and in the state of Alabama, were able to comb through a decade worth of material, a scheme that took a decade to build, so that we were able to follow the money, because money never lies, and they got caught. As the Attorney General said, these charges are varying, they are widespread and wide-ranging, and this investigation is very much ongoing. Today, we're here to announce the charges of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and this investigation and the individuals who are responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you.
Crazy, crazy stuff. Now, of course, right, they're going to say, and they have been saying, no, we weren't paying the organizations. We were paying informants within the organizations. And my rebuttal to that is, well, then why have shell companies trying to pay these individuals? Why would you need to hide the fact that it's you paying them? because their organizations that they're involved in don't know that, they're receiving any type of check, right? That's why they're informants. They're undercover, allegedly. So why would you need shell companies to do that? I don't know. Kind of weird to me, but I'm not surprised, right? Because if you guys remember, Joe Biden ran on some of this stuff. He used this as fuel, right, to get elected. But of course, Democrats can never win fair and square. They got to always come up with something. They can't win straight up. Their ideas don't stand up to scrutiny. So they had to manufacture something to rile people up. Check it out.
Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. It was there on August of 2017 we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces, illuminated by torches, veins bulging and bearing the fangs of racism, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. And they were met by a courageous group of Americans, and a violent clash ensued. And a brave young woman lost her life. And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world and shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides? With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime. I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation. Well, that's even more true today. We are in the battle for the soul of this nation. I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are, and I cannot stand by and watch that happen.
Yeah, so you get it. He literally ran on a fake paid protest. Now we know. And as a matter of fact, you guys remember these guys? Remember them? Yeah. I made several videos on these individuals and others, and I kept saying, this is fake, because real people on the right, we don't cover our face. We don't wear masks. We don't hide. That's something that people on the left do. And it turns out, well, was right. Those people were allegedly being paid. Right once again. What a shame. What a shame. Crazy. All of that stuff. And you come to find out that this group that was meant to combat these types of groups was actually paying them, allegedly paying them, so that they could rile things up even more. They could raise some more dollars. They could have another excuse to still exist. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But once again, what do you expect from Democrats? Do you expect anything less? I don't. They have to manufacture this type of stuff in order to garner votes, in order to get support, because once again, their ideas don't stand up to scrutiny whatsoever. It's just facts. It's just facts. But as always, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. It's also quite interesting. Before I let you guys go, I'm gonna leave you with this too. And I want to get your thoughts on this. It's also quite interesting that around the same time that all of this started breaking, because this stuff has been coming out for a little bit now. I'm just now talking about it though, full disclosure. Some very interesting characters left America. All of the same individuals that have been bashing Trump, just out of the blue randomly, the Candace Owens types, quite a few of them just randomly left America right as this stuff started breaking. Coincidence? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Was the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, were they paying people like Candace Owens? And so now they all left the country to meet somewhere and yip yap and jaw jack about the next moves? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Because I believe it was Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, I believe Ian, and like maybe one other person. They were all bashing Trump recently, you know, all going after Republicans and, oh, don't vote for Trump. Trump's gone crazy. You know, that crew of individuals. Just all of a sudden, a few of them left right as this started happening. I find that suspicious. I just find it suspicious. Y'all can let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you think it has something to do with this, or if it has nothing to do with it, just a coincidence, I don't know. Let me know. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.